You know what time it is?
Boom shakalaka! Yes, all right. Boom shakalaka, it is. And here we are again on a Friday, and it's a great day. Hot, but great.
Yes, hot but great. That sounds good. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us with Miss Rocki and Chaveevah Live. You know it's always something great going on in the North End.
And everywhere else in the Cedar Valley. And you know this. Look, we've got Kathy Mahoney, the very woke attorney that will tell you all the things that you need to know about all law. Welcome, Kathy.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, indeed. It's always nice to see you. She has a really prevalent Facebook presence, and I've seen her clarify a few things, and I kind of think that she thinks the way we do sometimes, on the same, kind of lean to the left when it comes to politics.
Yeah. There's just, well, everybody knows, you can't miss it. There's so many different things that are going on right now, some of them causing a lot of uncertainty and turmoil and stuff. So we've, all of us, found ourselves discussing these things and rolling them over in our heads. And so I'm sure that's what we're going to be doing today.
Right. And Kathy, you know, we always talk about good things, right?
Oh, we sure do.
So we got some good things to report. I know you've probably heard there's a new bookstore in town.
Yeah, it's right by Robin Supply, right where that used to be.
Right, right. A young lady, a black woman named Amber Collins has opened up a bookstore. And it seems that she has always wanted to do this. She was encouraged by her mother to read, and her mother had traveled as well. So she was brought up and she was nurtured to do this.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. The name of the bookstore is the Soul Book Nook. And I think their official opening is going to be September 1st, so that's something to look forward to, because it's great to have a new bookstore, and I believe the article said that it's the first black-owned bookstore in Iowa. That's a milestone.
Yes, the very first, and we are the most diversely populated city in the state. So it's nice to have someone representing the black population and having a black-owned bookstore. So please patronize the bookstore, go in there and find out, you know, what there is to offer. All right. Also, we always have to talk about our super-duper sponsor, the Ferguson Real Estate Team, who is a proud sponsor of Rocki and Chaveevah Live. And they just hired a new person, Chaveevah Keller. And he's building relationships and selling lots of houses in the metro area. So thank you for those people that have reached out to Ferguson Team. Yes. And what else do we got, Chaveevah?
Well, I know our birthday people need to just make sure they hang on tight to the end, because we are going to be singing happy birthday, and Kathy is going to join us.
Right. We're going to have her on percussion.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Okay, we got Kathy Mahoney that's going to, she promised us to sing a solo like all of our, like all of our guests.
Here, let me get some help here.
Yeah, that's right. There you go. Let's drink to that.
There we go. Yes, indeed. All right. Well, thank you for joining us on this day of remembrance of Emmett Till. Emmett Till was lynched on this day, I believe, years ago. And also we have an article that is on our Facebook wall that Pat Kinney wrote about, just kind of surmising the whole thing. Also, today is the March on Washington. And I think we have that running live on our page today. Yeah,
the March on Washington is commemorated today, as well as the lynching of Emmett Till. And in a lot of ways, it highlights how far we have and have not come since that time.
Right, and that's actually the topic of our Give It Air today. We, again, we want to emphasize that until we start seeing a lot more systemic change, we may be concentrating on these social issues. Our show is always about good things, but the things in today's news aren't always good things. So again, we're going to give it air about Emmett Till and how we're still mourning his death, Kathy.
Yes, we are.
did you want me to comment?
Yes, just
well, what is particularly disgusting is that the mayor of Chicago wrote that because he was from Chicago. He visited his relatives down south, and so she wrote something on her page, and the backlash on that was just really horrific. And what people don't remember is the men who did this were tried by an all-white jury, and they were found not guilty within like minutes, if you know, maybe half an hour. And then they went on Look or Life magazine, and they confessed to the murder. And so they got off. The whole country knew they got off. You can't, you know, double jeopardy. They couldn't be retried by state law again, and the feds didn't step in until much later. And the woman who falsely accused that 12-year-old boy is still alive. And she has admitted that she lied.
Yes.
But has suffered no consequences whatsoever. And then the other terrible thing is people are like, why does that matter? Well, if it had led to change and black people weren't assaulted and killed in their own homes or jogging or biking or doing things that white people take for granted, then we could let Emmett Till rest in peace.
Yes.
But right now we can't because what happened to him is unfortunately still happening to people.
65 years later.
Yeah. Yep. When we were talking earlier, Rocki, I said that incident was particularly, I mean, it struck home with Black America in general and with my family in particular because my grandmother's sister lived in Ruleville, Mississippi, which Ruleville, Mississippi, Money, Mississippi are like Waterloo, Cedar Falls. And we had our marching orders when we went down to visit my aunt. They had a store. The Milan brothers who lynched Emmett Till had a store. And we had our marching orders. You do not go to that store under any circumstances. You don't walk on the side of the street where that store is located. You don't even look in the direction of that store, period. So.
Right. And Chaveevah, some of your life experiences are always so enlightening to me because, you know, you're pretty close to my age, but it seems like you've lived several lives.
Feels like it, too.
We have got to interview in depth, which reminds me, Kathy, you've heard about the pianos that were going to be spread around town here that a lot of local artists are painting. Well, Chaveevah is involved in those art projects. So make sure you look for those projects, and they're not going to tell us about that. They're not going to be in the store.
That's the one I'm working on right now.
Oh, how nice!
It's a work in progress. I don't usually show my stuff until after it's done.
Right.
But you get sort of a sense of where it's going.
Beautiful.
And yeah, they're working pianos, and people will be able to, you know, play them. And so it's a piece of art and a musical instrument all at the same time. So
interactive art.
Yeah.
And it's like, it reminds me of Chicago where they had the bulls, you know, all over town. And I think New York had something. So now we will have.
Yes, from other artists. I believe our friend Lori Dale is involved.
Paco has done a piano.
Oh, wow.
There are a few of them. I think I saw about, just in passing, maybe 7 or 8 different ones. So.
Awesome. And they're at the Waterloo Center for the Arts, and they will be on display there. Is that correct now?
Yeah, initially when they're all done, they're going to have a display, socially distant, of course, where the community can come in and get a look at them, play them if they want to. But in this time of COVID, it's not really advisable at this moment to have them out display on the streets like they had originally planned and like they would like to, but it's coming down the pike. We're not always going to be, one of these days we're going to be post-COVID.
Oh, yes, yes, right. And then that'll be a landmark for us, right?
Absolutely.
Right. And then just want to quickly say you're doing something at Jubilee that's going to be exhibited on their grounds, too. You have another panel that you're working on.
Yes, there is. I don't have any images of that and my work is usually happy, joy.
Yeah.
But there's unfortunately not a lot happy or joy about this, because this wall is going to basically be sort of a time capsule or a moment in time that we're going through. And right now, it's pretty turbulent.
2020.
Yeah.
Is something.
So much going on. It's COVID-19, and it's also just seeming like a influx of more people, unarmed black people being shot and killed by the police. So this wall and these images are going to be reflecting the times that we're going through right now. So
something else to look forward to. And like our opening give it air comment, we've got to give that some air, you know, and let it be history for our community for later. And
hopefully it'll be kind of a catharsis for people to be able to see that and
be validated.
Yes.
And what struck me is you're from Rouville, and so is Fannie Lou Hamer.
Yes, my grandmother knew her. Yeah.
And so there's that whole history there with the vote.
Yeah.
Yes. And we just celebrated that too, the voting.
A lot of admiration for that lady, because, you know, a lot of things that have made the most difference in civil rights and in most movements, period, have been grassroots people who just decided enough was enough, or we need more, or whatever. So, yep.
And right now, this year, honestly, it feels like enough is too much. I mean, thus the NBA canceling games. I mean, we've got people all over the country, all over the world that are understanding that this is what time it is.
Naomi Osaki.
Yes.
I was really touched by her statement, because I hadn't realized that she had gone up to Minnesota and she had participated and she had donated, and she was just talking about how it just made her sick to her stomach. And you know, she lives and practices here, she trains here, but she's Jamaican and Japanese. So that she took on this cause, I think, you know, as so many other people have.
Sure.
But I just read something on her this morning.
Because when you think about what's happening, all you have to do, if you can, and I know there's a disassociation sometimes with different people and different culture, if you can, if you have a child, put that child in the victim's place. And how can you play basketball after thinking about something like that, you know? And so it's important that when you have a platform, that you discuss these things, and you know, and that's exactly what the sports arena is doing right now.
And for people who think that athletes should just shut up and dribble or whatever, that just brings it home even more. These things have an effect on people as human beings, to the extent that sometimes it prevents you from you can't just quote unquote do your job, especially if all you're thinking about is just, I want to be entertained.
Right.
I'm sure that the people, the athletes, want to be able to do what they do as well without having that hanging over their head. And so it's a hump that all of us as a nation have to get over. Confront and deal with.
And we are all sick and tired, and enough is too much. And moving along, we had a great show last weekend, right?
We have a great show
every week. We get these things out there. We talked to some great people. We had Yolanda Williams last week. Kathy, did you happen to catch the show last week?
Just parts of it, in and out.
Yes, we had Yolanda Williams, and we were actually outside, and it was a hot day. Yeah, it was a great time with Yolanda Williams and also Robert Smith from UNIQ. And we want to encourage people to contact UNIQ, because they give all kinds of great opportunities for tutoring. They'll let you know how to, you know, get your children enrolled in these various programs that can be helpful. And you can reach them.
Yes, even the campus visits and stuff that they used to do in person, they are still doing them virtually. And, and because with virtual you can go anywhere in the world, that's where they've been going, to different campuses in Paris, London, you know, just different places to, you know, get our young people acquainted with other parts of the world and look at education as a logical next step.
Yes, and you can reach UNIQ by calling, thank you, Kathy Mahoney, 319-273-4775. So call UniQ today and you can talk to Upward Bound, EOC, Robert Smith, any of those great people there. All right, now we got to talk about that census. Chaveevah, why should people fill out that census form that may be still on their desk? And it's getting late.
Yes, it is. I hope it's not still on your desk. It's really, it's really important to be counted. If you're counted, then things like, you know, representation, you hear that all the time, representation matters. Census takes a look at numbers, ethnicities, it takes a look at all of these things so you can get an accurate picture, you know, of what the population looks like and what's needed.
And that drives funding.
Yes, yes.
And so the funding comes from the numbers that, you know, not only our representation in Congress, but funding for this program or that program, whether it's Head Start, whether it's the food program in the schools. There's so much funding that flows from that. And we had our own Yeshia Bebi working in the ag department. And so, you know, back in when Obama was president, and she was talking to me about just how much funding goes through ag and all the different programs they had set up and what they could do and this and that. And so, you know, we're a city, right? We think Waterloo, we're a city, but we're in an agricultural state. And
yes, we
so
are.
We need, you know, all the dollars we can get. And there are tax dollars coming back to us.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You betcha. And you can go there if you don't want to get that dust off of your desk. Go get on your computer and go to census.gov. And I guess you have to put that www.my2020census.gov.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Ed, do we have any comments? Anybody want to holler at us today? Any
Couple comments.
questions for the lawyer?
I think Amy Cass made a comment when you were talking about the Give It Air segment. It sets a dangerous precedent culturally to allow such a miscarriage of justice.
Okay.
Yes.
When you were talking about your piano, Rachel Chase said beautiful, and she can't wait to see it.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Hi,
And then,
Rachel.
Rachel Chase also, when you were talking about the bookstore, she says she can't wait to go visit that bookstore.
Oh,
yes, and hopefully your book will be stocked in there, Rochelle.
Of course, of course. And yes, and thank you to Rochelle Chase. You can go to our wall and see the wonderful article that Rochelle Chase wrote about us from the Iowa Starting Line.
Iowa Starting Line.
Yes, yes. I haven't read it yet. I saw it when I got here, so thank you, Rochelle, and looking forward to hanging out with you again next time she's in town. All right. Well, the Griffin. We're going to talk about that. Oh, there's our article she pulled up. Yes. What'd she say? Okay. The Griffin. After 56 years, the Waterloo City Council voted 7-0 for the removal of the logo to establish a process for replacing it. And as you can see, that is the logo, and a lot of people want to dice it up and say it's half dragon, half dinosaur, no, half lion. What?
Yeah.
I don't see the lion. I see claws and scary green eyes. And so we're happy that it's being replaced because it offended a certain majority of people, you know, a certain minority of people. And so mostly black people are saying that it looks too much like the KKK emblem. And so with that being in mind, and it's been that way for generations, what are your thoughts about the Griffin or the dragon?
Several things. First of all, it replaced a symbol. And so symbols come and symbols go. And I understand that the Waterloo Police Department is very proud of it, and yet no speaker at the council meeting denied that it was known within the police department as the green-eyed N-word eater.
Yes.
So to me, when former Chief of Police Jennings spoke and defended it, he did not say, and it has never been known as. I've never heard that. And so, although emotions were very high, nobody denied that. And so, yeah, griffins on their own as a mythical creature, which are half lion, half eagle, and whatever they are, they're noble and they mean this, they mean that. The problem is, specifically to Waterloo, it has taken on a racist character because of the way the police referred to it and the actions that flowed.
And the timing, it was in the 60s.
It was in 1965, I believe, or 64. So it's only 56 years old. And and if you look at how old our city is, you know, it's time for it to go. It came during the Civil Rights era. It had an uncanny, very close resemblance to Clan Dragon. You can argue that to death. But the problem is in perception.
Right. That's it, exactly.
And again, nobody who is in marketing, nobody who does branding, and they hear this is how this has been out in the public, would stick with that brand.
Right.
You know, because
it's a time for change. I mean, things are being reviewed, and lots of people, the Redskins, I mean, from there on down, the way we look at things in the 21st century has got to change. And if it's offensive, then, you know, why not? I have a good friend whose dad is on the police department, and she expressed her concern. You know, there's lots of people that patch means more to than others, but the time has come, it seems, and they can use another. They can get another. It can be in the design, Chaveevah.
Yeah, I don't think, just my opinion, that many people would be pleased with a revamped Griffin, but at the same time, you know, this is, I won't say kick the can down the road a little bit, but is some time for other things to be considered. But the bottom line is that particular image is no more, or won't be. So.
That's right. So that's our change gonna come section. We talked about that, and we're happy for progress, and that makes us Waterloo proud, because if we said before that black voices haven't been heard, then we can say now that they have. And I'm thankful for that. It's small baby steps. We got some time to work it out. And I promise you, I would not want to be on that board. I would not want to be the mayor or the police chief at this juncture right now, because
but there's a committee, and there's going to be a committee between 8 and 10 people. And so I think people who are interested or have a view can let the mayor know that and say, you know, this is, I would like to be on this committee, or I would recommend so-and-so. Because the police deserve a good symbol.
They do. Yes.
And my talk at the city council was, in my view, what is essential to policing is this quick-wittedness, this wisdom that they need. The officer grows over time. The police department, you know, has a wisdom, and they also have a wisdom of the community.
Sure.
And so I just think there is so much that, yes, we need to replace the one, but we can have something new, we can have something exciting that can stand for a change and a commitment to change and showing respect. Because if you want respect to be given to you, you have to give that respect.
Right, and bringing the community together. Because like we said before, no matter what the outcome would have been, there's community still going to be divided, because it's such a heated topic, and we got to move along. Okay, we want to say to our crew, we love you for telling us we only have 5 minutes left.
Oh, okay, all right. Yes,
and we got to keep it moving, because these are people that work here, and they got to go home. So we're gonna skip saying thank you to you guys, because we love you so much. And when you go to our Facebook page, remember, we like to have civil discourse. Don't be calling names.
Yeah, and I have been very mindful of taking my own advice about that, because sometimes
we'll get in fights.
Sometimes it'll be kind of upsetting, you know, and I go in there with my sword swinging, but that's not the way to win friends and influence people. But I don't call anybody out of their names, so let's not do that at all. Okay?
That's right. Let's be civil. Get your edition of the Soul Town at thesoultown.com, because we didn't say anything about it, but that's what you need to know. There it is. And we got to ask Kathy a couple more questions before we sing happy birthday.
Yes, indeed.
So our 5 minute will probably turn into 8. Just FYI. Okay. We want to ask you, Kathy, what is your opinion of people, and Chaveevah, I want you to chime in too, because you guys are both so wise. What's your opinion of people that say if people, black people or anybody would not resist arrest, maybe you wouldn't get shot in the back 7 times?
Well, what about the gentleman who was sitting on the sidewalk with his arms out, protecting his autistic client who he was a caretaker for, and he was shot? I mean, there's so many times, and I believe white people are taught to fear black people.
Yes, I know it's a fact.
And so we have to work very hard to overcome our own conditioning, our own thinking on this, and work really hard on it. And so it's our perception. I had an attorney friend who said the cop who shot Philando Castile was right to be afraid, when Castile was just following the directions of the officer, who told the officer, I'm a licensed gun owner, the gun is in the thing, you want this, I'm going to get it for you, and he was shot. And this lawyer friend of mine, up and down, yes, the officer was justified in being afraid.
Okay.
No, he was complying. It doesn't save you.
Okay.
And that's the problem.
And to our point, Chaveevah.
That's kind of the way I feel too. There's no one-size-fits-all application for that. I mean, because there have been, we've all, just like we see and have become desensitized to seeing a lot of the, it's like watching a snuff film where people are just killed right there. Okay, there have been incidents where the police, because what young black person at this point, young, older, otherwise, doesn't know at this point, comply with the police. And so those who have complied, I've seen videos where people were in compliance, doing this, kneeling, and get kicked in the chin, kicked in the back and in the stomach, and the cops are just kind of laughing like.
And to your point, we talked earlier about the fact that, yeah, well, don't you think people have thought about that? Duh. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and comply. I'm not going to resist. But in the heat of the whole situation, sometimes things get out of hand. And to your point, white people are taught to be afraid of black people. Just my own personal experience is this is what is called being unapologetically black. Right now what's happening is what people are tired of saying, I'm sorry that we're offending you, I'm sorry that you don't like what you're seeing, but now we're just speaking up. And telling my son as he grew up, Travis, when you see white people, smile because they're scared of you. I promise, I taught him that, and I felt so bad because I knew that I have white people in my family that thought, oh, there's a big black guy. Oh, I bet he's tough. He's not. He's a dork, right? You know, but nobody knows that because, you know, so we feel that so many white people are afraid of black children. And now we got to wrap that segment up, Kathy. I'm sorry because I can tell you got a lot more to say. But
you'll just have to have me back.
we will, and we certainly will. And hopefully things will be better. We won't have to hash these things over so much, but there's so much to talk about. Now, those are just my opinion and life experience as well, too, so don't cuss me out on Facebook. It's just the way it is. Okay. We got happy birthday people. We're going to get happy all of a sudden, right? Okay. We got who, Chaveevah?
Well, I think you better start with, okay.
We better start with me.
That's right.
Yes.
It's the birthday girl.
That's right. We have a birthday person among us today, our guest today.
So my birthday's tomorrow, and who else is on our list?
Okay. Kathy
Mahoney, the
top
birthday
of our
queen,
list.
yes.
Okay. We also have Chuck Rowe, Alan Speller, James Fuji Smith, Jenny Lucky, Dr. Gloria Kirtland Holmes, Luann Gerber, Gregory Young, and LaTanya Anderson.
All right. LaShondra Fletcher, LaShonda Ferguson Felder, my sweetie. I just love LaShonda, my stepdaughter, actually. Judea Hill, Kathy Mahoney in the house, Desiree McDonald Mudd, and Chaveevah, you get this one.
Anissa Kachchazovic, Sorry, Anissa, if I butchered your name, but happy birthday.
Kostozovic. I like it. Once you say it, I can say it. And, of course, my nephew, Dondi Hickey, the sweetheart. All right, we get to sing happy birthday to all of you wonderful birthday people. And we're going to sing the Stevie Wonder version. Now, you got the tenor part, okay? If you can't sing good, sing loud.
Sing loud, that's right.
Okay, and we sing the Stevie Wonder version, and it goes something like this. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya.
All right.
Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday.
All
Yay,
right.
Kathy, it's your birthday. And
Yes.
you've been around for a little while.
A little while.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're glad to have you here today.
Thank you so much for asking me.
You're so welcome. And in closing, we just want to keep encouraging you. Ed, you have some comments.
Well, that I can read a couple comments, but Agnes says you guys are supposed to do a drawing.
Oh, thank you,
Oh.
Agnes. That's right. We got a $25 gift card.
That's right.
While you get set up for that, I'll just read a couple comments that
Oh,
Amy Cass
bless
has
you.
has written. She said traditions change and evolve as a society. And as we as a society move past and through time and gain broader knowledge, in other words, when we know better, we absolutely have to do better for everyone.
Yes.
That's right.
yes.
And
Amy's
she
going to be on our
says,
show next
experience
week.
has taught a person of color that no matter what, police will view them as a threat despite their best efforts. And finally, Amy Cass says, do not apologize for your experience with racism. It's not as if you chose those experiences for yourself.
Wow. Love it.
Thank
love
you.
it. Love it. And we just love to see people that are thinking outside of the box and sometimes outside of what has been taught.
And people who are willing to have these discussions, because the outcomes, you know what I'm saying, we're going to confront it regardless. We
Right.
can do it the easy way or we can do it the hard way. We usually do it the hard way.
Okay, one more thing. Jane Elliott said she was expected to be racist in the little town that
She
she grew
did.
up with
She
because
said that.
that's just the way it is. So, I mean, and I hate the word racist. I'm sick of using it, and I don't ever, unless I really, if there's no way around it, I might have to say it. But a lot of times I give people the benefit of the doubt. All right, Kathy, you're the birthday girl. Find out who's going to win 25 big ones.
Big ones. Okay, and the winner is Susan Bateman.
Susan, all right.
Make sure I'm right,
I
yes.
think it's a hyphenated name.
Okay, I just see Susan Bateman.
Yes, right. All right, Susan.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to you. And those are for all of the people that sent in their first day of school pictures. And also, we got a shout out to our guests yesterday. Watch our Zoom show from yesterday. It was way cool to find out some people that moved away that are doing great things and some people that are still here.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Well, now, thank you, Agnes and Ed, for all you do to make us look good. And we want to encourage everybody else out there, our viewers, to keep doing more of what makes you awesome.
Because
It makes us all look good. And stay socially distant.
All right.